Tesla's full self-driving version 14 is here, and this might be the closest thing we've seen yet to a true artificial general intelligence, one that can navigate the real world without any need for human input. Now, just in case you're not familiar, Tesla's full self-driving uses artificial intelligence that sees the world through cameras that are mounted all around the outside of the car. Then it takes those multiple viewpoints and assembles them into one 360-degree top-down view, like an all-seeing eye. So the car will recognize where every other car on the road is located and make predictions about where all of those cars are going and what they're about to do next. It also sees every road marking, every sign, every traffic light, all at once. Then the AI uses all of that information to navigate the unpredictable chaos that we call traffic. Tesla has been through an ongoing process since October 2020 of collecting data from their entire fleet of vehicles, then using that data to train their AI, then putting that AI to the test in real-world scenarios. First with a small group of beta testers, and now the latest cutting-edge software updates are available to anyone who's willing and able to pay for it. There have been many big FSD updates over those 5 years, but version 14 might be the most important yet. Elon Musk has said that with just a few more minor tweaks, your car will feel like it is sentient. So the first major advancement with V14 is that the software can finally navigate from parking spot to parking spot, meaning that not only will the car take you to your destination, but it will also search out a reasonable place to park and then pull it into that spot. Before this, the car would only pull up out front of the destination and then return control to the driver. We've already seen videos of Tesla vehicles navigating Costco parking lots and driving up and down the rows of parked cars to hunt out the best spot. And then you can combine that ability with Tesla's new built-in Grok AI voice assistant. So you hop in the car, you ask Grok to recommend a new restaurant, you ask it to drive you there, and when it arrives, the car finds the nearest parking spot to drop you off. No need to touch anything, hardly any need to even think for yourself. Here's another crazy example. FSD can pull into a fast food drive-thru, stop at the intercom, wait for you to make an order, drive ahead to the payment window, wait for you to pay, drive ahead to the pickup window, wait until you have the food, and then confidently drive away. But how does it enter the transaction through the camera in the door pillar? But there also seems to be an element where the microphones can hear what's going on and understand the situation as well. Speaking of understanding complex situations, this new FSD is the first version that will recognize and react to emergency vehicles. So the car will spot something like an approaching ambulance with lights on, and it will automatically pull over to make room. It also recognizes when the road is blocked by first responders, like when a fire truck might be parked across several lanes of traffic. The software will stop, turn around, and find another way. Rerouting seems to be a particular strong point with V14. The software will make the executive decisions to override the navigation and go on a different way to avoid obstacles. This is a huge improvement over previous versions that would basically just freeze up and panic if anything unexpected ever happened on the road. And that's probably the biggest concern in a driverless robotaxi situation, that the car you're riding in might just get stuck and leave you stranded. Not anymore, though. Another great example of making decisions on the fly comes when the vehicle encounters an active construction zone with a lane closure and you have a person with a handheld sign controlling the traffic flow. This is where you would expect an autonomous car to stumble, but there are examples of FSD14 handling these situations perfectly. And what's really interesting here is that when the road worker flips the sign over to the yield side, it still appears on the Tesla screen as a stop, probably because of the shape, but FSD still knows what to do anyway. We know that Tesla is adding more specific visualizations to the display software. They included all of these new icons with V14, including common stuff like ambulances, fire trucks, and garbage trucks, but also some more niche visuals like golf cart, wheelchair, and baby stroller. So that's a pretty good indication that the software can recognize all of these things and treat them appropriately. That's another big change that we've noticed with V14. It's very safety conscious around bicyclists and pedestrians, giving them extra wide berths on the road and proceeding with higher caution anytime they're in the path of travel. If anything, FSD has become too cautious around people. The first release of V14 was definitely too cautious in pretty much every situation. The update immediately started braking for seemingly no reason, stuttering, and becoming indecisive. That seems to have been mostly smoothed out by minor patches to version 14.1.1, and now it mostly reserves the paranoid behavior for only the most vulnerable road users. Now, one area where we've seen FSD become a lot more confident with the new update is when navigating these narrow roadways where it's frequently getting into conflicts with oncoming traffic. This one guy, AI driver, will purposely send his car into this insane neighborhood with super narrow and winding roads and cars parked all along one side. There's hardly ever enough room for two vehicles to fit through, but FSD seems to always manage these head-on conflicts in a really smart and human-like way. It'll squeeze into tight spaces and pass within just inches of other cars in a way that only an expert driver could pull off. We're also seeing more obstacle detection from FSD. If there's stuff on the road, it'll make an effort to drive around, even if it's something that could have been safely run over. But that's still a huge improvement. This carries over to animal detection as well. FSD will spot a squirrel running into the road and brake to avoid it. The software now has a superhuman ability to recognize deer by the roadside and slow down appropriately. We still haven't seen FSD perform an active deer collision avoidance, but that's going to be pretty interesting when we get there. So, what all this indicates to us is that Tesla is taking another giant leap in the direction of unsupervised FSD, or fully autonomous driving. We're not there yet, but this starts to raise some interesting questions about how we will know when we have arrived. For example, with FSD version 13, Tesla managed to do away with those critical disengagements, like situations that we would have seen regularly a couple years back, where the car would try and drive onto a railroad track or straight into a post, and the driver would have to take immediate control to prevent a collision or just keep the vehicle on the road. For the most part, that all went away within the past year, so we could use FSD with relative confidence that the car wouldn't crash itself, which was great. But there's more to driving than just not crashing. Now with V14, almost all of those loose ends and edge cases that would have required human input are being handled by FSD. And it's important to really understand that Tesla is the only company in the world that can do this, because fundamentally true generalized AI driving requires millions of cars on the road that are traveling billions of miles and requiring data all along the way. Then that data needs to be fed into a massively powerful supercomputer that can use it to train the AI model. Then that AI needs a ridiculously efficient in-car computer to run in real time. No other company has all of these pieces in place. Even big tech players like Google and Nvidia have aspirations to create autonomous vehicles. They know how to work with AI and they have the supercomputers, but they don't have the multi-million vehicle fleet to give them the training data. A rival car maker like Honda or Mercedes or Chevrolet might have more cars on the road than Tesla will ever build. But none of those cars collect training data. They don't know anything about AI, and they're certainly not investing in computer chips. Tesla will be the company that figures out autonomous driving. Arguably, they already have. And then what happens? So we have an interesting question. When the AI can do all of the same things that a human can do, when our abilities are equal, then at what points do we start to legally regard that AI as being just as capable as a human to drive a car without supervision?